There might be an opportunity to move, but I've only got a day session and days are still short, so it's probably more likely I'll just stay in this swim. Pretty cold, the water's still cold and it's still winter and it's still difficult to get bites. The sun came out for a little bit though, did look promising. I thought maybe that might spark something. So nothing's happened, but I've recast the solid bags. Hopefully that'll do it. I'm back at Monk Lakes. I'm on the members lakes again and it's really windy like it was last time. Not as crazy as 40 miles an hour wind, but it's meant to be about 15-16 miles an hour wind today. That is the reason I'm in the bivvy, because it's absolutely freezing cold, that wind. That happy about being outside at the moment. It's absolutely freezing out there, and I'm glad I've got the bivvy with me. It does mean I can't move around as much, stuff like that. I am doing a day session this time, and my original plan was to move around, fish 2 rods and just try and cover as much water as possible. Things have changed, the wind obviously, the weather's much more miserable as well. So it ended up changing, and I've gone back to using 3 rods and pretty much staying in one swim all day. There might be an opportunity to move, but I've only got a day session and days are still short, so it's probably more likely I'll just stay in this swim and probably just cover as much area as possible. Normally you don't actually see the carp on here, and I didn't see any carp anyway. The temperature is plummeted, so they're not moving as much. In the last couple of days we've had much colder weather. I'm not convinced that it's going to suddenly kick off and get loads and loads. One carp has actually just come out. Joff, which if you remember was in one of my videos, he's actually fishing a couple of swims down and he's just had one, about 14 pound. Now that shows that they are still willing to feed even though it's cold. Last time I was down it was a lot warmer, and the carp were definitely more active. This time it doesn't seem like they're active enough really to get even more bites than sort of one really. I think I'll be lucky to get one. The swim I've picked is basically the next open water section. Because the open water section is being covered at the moment further down, which is a lot bigger, I've decided to come to the middle section of the lake. It's still the same depth, and I have actually fished the back of this area from when I was fishing the other side, when I was fishing with Joff in our little combined session where he struggled and I done quite well. But that session I actually fished the back of this and I did get a few. So fishing this side has been a bit more easier. I don't have to cast as far, and I'm fishing pretty much exactly the same spots that I fished before, and I caught carp on. So hopefully fishing an area that I kind of know the tactic as well. So I've decided to put 2 rods out in the open water, and that's where I had all the bites last time, obviously from the other side. And the third area I wasn't sure, you know, I've got an open water to put 2 rods and I couldn't really figure out what to do with the third rod, but there is a gap in between 2 islands that runs up to a shallow end and actually feed that end as well. They come up here every so often and they put feed in just to grow the carp on, and keep them having food to eat, and they have fed it a couple of days ago, so maybe they might be up there. It is shallow, it's only like 2.5 foot at the moment. The water is still down. They're meant to be refilling it soon, so hopefully when they refill it maybe they might be moving up there more. Hopefully it'll warm up as well by then. It looks like there's a chance of a bite. It doesn't look like it's going to be absolutely crazy, but I'm going to give it a good go and hopefully I'll catch something today. I've decided to put 2 on solid bags. I did that last time, and to be honest, only one rod went off, but I've decided this time as well to put both the same hook baits in both the bags instead of actually having 2 different hook baits. Now that is the 12mm yellow ocean fruits pop-up. The bags are actually made up of 2mm red lobster pellets, as well as the red lobster stick mix in the bottom, just so we don't hook any pellets or anything in the bag. On the other rod, I've decided to put a helicopter setup with a Ronnie rig with an ocean fruit pink 15mm pop-up on. Did okay trimming it down and putting it inside a solid bag a couple of sessions ago, so I thought might as well stick with that bait. I've done quite well recently on it as well, and I've decided to put a few red lobster boilies over the top of it, just a few. I'm not going to go crazy, it's pretty cold, the water's still cold and it's still winter and it's still difficult to get bites. I think I've got about 10 baits over the top. And the solid bags, I'm just going to be casting them around as much as possible. I put them in the middle because I thought that might give me a higher chance of getting a quicker bite, just because that's an area that I caught from previously when I fished the opposite side. But I might bring them in a bit closer, and I might cast them out even further as well, and there's still a lot of area to cover. There is a little bit to my right, which is between an island and a bank. That's an area there that could produce something, maybe, who knows. But I can't really go further left because it just goes really shallow and there's no point of being up there at the moment. Unless it's really hot and sunny, they're not going to be up there at all. So I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I'm hopefully something happens and hopefully I'll get a carp soon. Well, nothing's happened so far. It's coming to about 12 now, and yeah, nothing's happened. I haven't seen anything. It's been pretty cold. All I could do was bring the rods in, both the solid bags in, and rechuck them. So I've decided to put one directly in the middle, but a little bit more further out, and the one that I was casting slightly more right, I've actually cast it even more right and slightly more further. I'm slowly going towards the island pretty much on the right hand side, just trying to cover that water. It is shallower to the left, so I'm really only going slightly left and then sort of like working my way through the water, and I'm probably going to slightly cast further and further up until a point, because it does get shallow on the far side as well. So really there isn't huge amounts of like the deeper water on this side. I can always bring one in and just like flick it out in front of me to just try and see if there's maybe one sitting out just in, like, you know, 30 yards or something, or 20 yards from me. But for now I'm not really seeing anything or getting enough indications to sort of tell me that. I've had a few indications on the right side on the solid bag that I just recast, but I'm not entirely sure if that's indications of carp passing by or if it is just really nothing. Maybe it's just the wind, probably. Yeah, so nothing's happened, but I've recast the solid bags. Hopefully that'll do it. Well, I'm hoping it does something anyway. On the third rod I haven't done anything, I'm just going to leave it out there. I might reel it in a bit and check on it, but I'm going to leave it for now. I'm just going to wait it out and hopefully something happens. Recasting may do something, it may not, but I'm just going to keep going with it and keep recasting every sort of hour and try and cover as much water as possible, and hopefully I'll get a bite at some point today. There's not many hours left of the day session really, 4 or 5 hours, and then that's it really for me, so hopefully I'll get something soon. Well, I've only got an hour left of my session and nothing has happened at all. Pretty quiet really, some bird activity on the lake, no signs of carp. It is pretty cold to be honest, and in the wind. Yeah, the sun came out for a little bit though, did look promising. I thought maybe that might spark something. Nothing. Yeah. I'm hoping that the last sort of hour may be the best. Well, as it's coming into the late afternoon, maybe something might happen, hopefully soon. It'd be nice to get at least one take, and even if it is a small one, I'm not too worried at the moment, as long as I get something in this session. Obviously my plan was to come out for a day session and move around and try and find them, chuck out bags in different areas, you know, try and really cover as much of this lake as possible. But with the wind and the weather, I ended up in one swim, which I didn't really want to do that, but I've ended up doing that and nothing's really happened. To be honest, it's been pretty quiet, the lake. One carp did get caught, so that was something, you know, they are willing to feed at some point or another. I think a day session is a little bit too short to fish on this lake. Maybe I need to put a bit more effort in. Obviously I've been doing nights so far, and I probably will do, to be honest. I'll probably continue doing that. You know, 24 hours, 48 hours is probably key to getting as many bites as possible on this lake at the moment, especially as it's still cold, and obviously it's still winter, so it's still cold, it's still freezing cold, and it's still hard, and the lakes are hard, and you know, it's tricky, but usually if you get the right bait, find the right spot, you can get bites. But at the moment they just put off by the weather keep changing. It went from warm to cold, back to reasonably warm again, and then back to cold again, and it was oh no. So I don't think they're a bit confused at the moment. They're not entirely sure if they should get up and go in and it's spring, or huddle up somewhere and it's freezing cold and it's winter, because it just keeps changing the weather, and it's not making it easier at all. It's not making it easy at all. There's a lot of people blanking all different lakes around the country. Some people are catching, some people are doing well as well, so it's not all bad. But it's just it's a bit difficult at the moment, but I'm hoping that things turn around hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I'll see what happens in my session today, but obviously I will be back fishing and doing some more catching of carp soon probably, and yeah, I'm hoping that I'll get a bite suddenly, but you never know. It might end up being next session when I'm here a bit longer, and maybe then I'll catch something, but we'll see. Well, I think that's a blank for me today. I gave it a good go. It's really windy, cold. I wasn't expecting much, to be honest, and I thought there might be one opportunity if I land a solid bag in the right spot, or I don't know, maybe I'll just suddenly feed, but nothing happened. I tried really hard. Maybe next time I'll get something, and I'm sure I'll be back down soon. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.